What's up, everyone? Oh, wait, I gotta space this out so I can see alright. Hello, Kami, what's up? Chill FB, Illuminous. Yo, what's up, everybody? So, formal introduction time for all you VOD watchers right now. So, this is not the first time that I've listened to T-Pap. In fact, Hugs Lore. This is the first record I ever listened to. This was like... There was like one before it, but like I'm not gonna count that one. But basically, like, this like fundamentally made me change like the way that like I went about listening to music as a whole. Because there is a time where I was just singles, you know, collect a bunch of singles, put them on a playlist, and that was it. The idea of an album to me felt futile. I thought, you know, like, why would you make just this, like, why can't I just make my own album? I'll just put all the songs on a on a playlist, right? Because I just thought like music was taken as singles. I thought it was just stuff for rotation, just for your little noggin, you know, hit loop and that was it. Which it is, mind you, but it also is a formulated story. It's something that you can make your own narrative out of, this like whole thematic purpose, which makes it very different from, like, let's say a mixtape, where a mixtape is just a collection of things that may or may not connect. But an album, I feel like the biggest distinction is that it is an artist's or artist's, a band's vision and a message formally constructed to be the perfect sandwich. You know, it's not just you know, put whatever on there. So T-Lab was the biggest eye-opener, and it is also to this day my favorite record of all time. And I get itched to even talk about it. I may be obsessed, but I feel like while I don't think I can tell you everything about this record, I do proclaim right now that there is things about this record that a lot of you may not have thought about, or like maybe it hasn't been discussed to you, or there's something about like the way that it's made that I feel like I can actually add on to. But basically this is like cream of the crop. I have a lot of things to say, and I am just gonna do that. I'm going to play the record. So yeah, we will play the songs. Well, you know, you'll be able to hear it. But for the most part, this is an incredibly big deep dive into how I feel about it. Will it be like the most extensive one where like I can tell you every single reference that like Kendrick is like pulling from, and like how that metatextually bolsters this record? No. But there's at least like a few things here and there that I can talk about that will pipeline into like the main core of this record. So strap in, you little fuckers. I'm looking forward to having my eyes open. We'll see. But I do think while like, how do I say this? I think that this record has been talked about to death, but I also think there's things that seemingly haven't been really brought up either. So we'll find out. Anyway, this is me going to try and like amalgamate, connect all the little parts, and then we'll go from there. Got it? Yeah, let's go. Alright, so I don't know if like I'm gonna title this reaction or anything, because like, I mean, I technically is, but I feel like I have enough integrity to not do that. I'm just gonna, it's a review, it's an analysis, and yes, it will be played on stream. And yes, it'll also be a little loose. I don't have like There's no Google Doc on the side here to make me go, ah, yes, now here we can see, like, none of that. We're just gonna go off the old noggin. I've listened to this like 20 million fucking times. So, I feel like we can do something. I think I've listened to this album over 200 times. I love it. There's no record after the many years that I've listened to it the first time as my first record. There is no record that I think has this amount of density and complexity to it, like I think I've ever heard. There's complexity in, like, sonically that you can arrange from, like, metal music or, like, even mathematically. There's literally math rock of, like, oh, look at all these cool little chords that go together. And every single piece of art that I think exists is actually, like, a really cool culmination of a lot of things in life. That's how I feel about most stuff. But you'll see. I think Kendrick, specifically in many instances in this, will also talk about that kind of concept that he actually goes on to talk about in his other records. So I will say this right now, because we are going into T-Pab first and not really talking about Good Kid, there are going to be some things that will be inherently lost. I think that, like, for the most part, you will get this record if you're just coming in to hear me talk about, bleh, it's cool, isn't it? It sounds cool. Pfft, whatever. But there's actually a lot of, like, reading that you need to do in terms of, like, Kendrick stuff, because it all works as, like, a whole story. I think there's points in this record that only work as good as they do because you have listened to Kendrick's prior stuff. So if you haven't experienced the other, like, Good Kid or Section 80 up to this point, oh my god. And Kendrick also does a great job at recontextualizing his feelings, especially on Damn, especially on the Big Steppers, Mr. Morale. I'm in an oddly creative mood, so I mind if I make something for you? Go for it. Let's go. Go for it, Illuminous. I mean, like, I think that, like, that's the best thing about art. This sounds so forced, but okay, just listen here. The coolest thing about art is that it inspires more art. That's my firm belief. And art is an extension of the soul. Make your own shit, right? Go for it. That's the really pretentious way of saying, yeah. Thank you. Oh my god, what? Anyway. Yeah. Every Kendrick record builds on the last? Yeah, exactly. I agree. I is my favorite song? Hell yeah, fuck yeah. Is it do you like the live version or the studio version more? I think I love the live version, although it has that little breakdown at the end, at least in its album stuff. Fog Live? Yeah, Fog Live. What's up? Welcome in. Lishun. Live is like a whole vibe. It is. Oh god, the live just sounds so great. If it didn't have that, like, little skit at the end, I think I would just play I non-stop all the time. You know, just like as like a listenable song. God, if there was no, you know what I mean. Although I'm not, like, bagging on it, I think the live version works a lot contextually for this record. That's why I like this record's, like, almost arguably hard to rotate for some people, because it just all builds on itself, you know. Made in time? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. So, let me get this ready. Chat, you're all free to give your thoughts as well as we go through it. But there will be at least a few times that I'm just going to go stream of consciousness, talk about what's going on, okay? Because I don't want to lose some of my points either. And I already have a fucking monkey wrench in my brain. There's like the gremlins, the worms, they like fuck up my whole algorithm of thought. So I'm gonna try, but Alright. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we're gonna start TPAB, To Pimp a Butterfly, which notably we can talk about right off the bat. Oh, hold on. We can talk about right now is that TPAB, people shit on the name TPAB, like onlookers who haven't read the record. I think some people forget, like, despite this like album's legacy, is that when people look at the record, and I'm sure many of you who've recommended it to like just non-music like formative listeners, they'll just be like, "To Pimp a Butterfly," and they'll like put a lol emoji. What the hell? To Pimp a Butterfly? What the hell does that mean? But TPAB, which almost stood for Tupac, is an incredibly important layer on this whole thing, right? Obviously, Tupac comes at the end of the record, but like, if you want to like understand this album like metatextually more, go listen to Tupac. Go listen to like some of his stuff, because at least sentimentally, and some of the vulnerability that Tupac will have, even like his hard freaking tough exterior, because God is he full of that. If you go and check out his records, you will learn at least somewhat sentimentally of where Kendrick gets some of his ideas. But yeah, let us start this though. So TPAB was almost to pimp a caterpillar. That was caught by like the dead end hip hop fellas, and yeah, it really works. Yeah, that's the evolution right there. All right, so here, let me do this. Wesley's theory. So I'm also going to talk a little bit about production, but I am not a production head in the sense that like I can tell you everything that goes on. Like, oh, I can't believe they played an E. Oh my gosh, they played a D. Oh, look at that high A. Like, I can't really do that, but what I can do is talk narratively about it and like at least the feeling, the purpose of things, at least somewhat. So let's do it that way. All right. Okay, so TPAB starts with a Wesley's theory, and I will pause because I'm fucked up like that. God, and here comes the sample. Oh my God. So I'm gonna say this right now. First pause. Basically, I want to talk a little bit about something that I don't think other people have talked about. So I think everybody understands the purpose of this, but like, little extra reading for you. This sample starts off with this guy named like Boris Gardner or something. And if you don't know that, like, every minute is a star, that song that he has that's called that, in the second verse, it's, I have walked the streets alone. 20 years I've been on my own. To be hated and despised. No one to sympathize. There's no one great thing I know. I can say, I told you so. We've got a bright place in the sun where there's love for everyone. That is the second verse off of that song. And if you are a head about TPAB already, you will catch certain lines such as the sun and love for everyone. The whole, flower power almost, where, that is brought up in How Much a Dollar Cost, and even African Sentiments, is that like this part here is like all about the positive. It feels almost glossy, positive swing of even the N-word for, the Black community, right? That they will call them all stars, all empowered, despite that like thing that they said there, that they've been 20 years on their own and nobody's going to sympathize with like the Black member of society. So like right off the bat, this sample totally like in a meta way adds to or even foreshadows some of the stuff to come later, right? And then not only does it do that, which is really cool, it's just like, the pause beat here, and then hit me. And then it goes into the minor chord to like this overpowering, like, one, it's just a fucking awesome shout out, like the hit me. But it goes into the minor chord, juxtaposing that like positive swing, that positive empowerment. There's something sinister being like diluted here. The sentiment of like, we are all stars, we're all powerful, that like whole being in the headlights thing that sounds so alluring is also has this sinister energy around it, or at least like is like punched down. So it works like at least tonally really, really well, as well as metatextually. So just an awesome sample, like from the start, gives you a really good impression, even if you're not really thinking about those things, about like, that, you immediately feel the whole like, oh God, like, we're good vibe, bad vibe. I love that. The skip. Hit me. And then the poem comes. That first line there of like, are you really who they idolize? There's like a lot of stuff here of the four corners, like almost like a block, right? Gangs and stuff. And then the whole gather your wit inside the cocoon, right? To like try and like get as much knowledge, much power as you can. And then like when Kendrick slips through the cracks, as he says, as he wants to survive, like escaping the mad city from Good Kid. The line is, are you really who they idolize? To pimp a butterfly. To like basically glorify, to change, to like alter the form of the caterpillar, to basically poison it in its most formative stage, to pimp it to its own benefits, as like brought up in the end. But that whole like, are you really who they idolize? That line like pops up right at the start to basically tell you should be careful about how you see yourself, right? When Kendrick gets into power, when he gets like, king of the world, all that, right? It's like who really are you, And it even comes at the end of like when shit hits the fan, are you like still a fan, right? It's like, who is your idol? Who are you questioning? Which I think, while a lot of things pop up on this record about being like a savior almost, that like Kendrick wants to like take on helping the people, he's also kind of like putting himself in check, as well as like asking you, the audience, to say, do you glorify Kendrick? And should you even do that, right? Given his background, given where he's coming from. And it's even like just for Kendrick himself. The voice like is wobbly. It's like darker, right? Like this isn't just like some fucker. I mean, it is probably just some fucker. But like, listen to the filter change on it, right? Like just some like, menacing voice, right? You say he made Billie Jean, did he touch? Yeah, exactly. So like we'll actually get into that line, because I actually think like that line has aged badly as much as it's aged better. You can probably guess what I think when I say that. But like, yeah, there's a few things about that makes me think like, like who it is that you're like indebted to? Who are you loyal to, right? So I love that, because it works right here at the start, but it's also, what is it? It's right here at the start of like Kendrick, like, in the limelight, while also at the very end where it's like the Wesley Snipes thing. It works here, but I think it works for the rest of the record too. It's aged weirdly, yes. It's kind of like, it's kind of bad, but I also think it's kind of good because obviously we know what happened with MJ, and the documentary came out and everything. But I'll try and give my pitch at the end about that. Anyway, so yeah, right at the start, the thing pops in and it's just like, oh, what's going on? you know. But I think like this is such a good tone to take, as well as like, God, the fucking there's like just there's so much like texture going on already. Are you really who they idolize? To Pimp A Butterfly. Which comes back to that last line, making a very circular idea. And the one thing that I think gets like emphasized over and over again is that like jazz feels like, it's black music, right? But it's also like the coolest thing about jazz is like how literally, we use the term, but how soulful it sounds. And I think like soul, even just in concept, works a lot. Not even just like soul as in the music, but soul as in soul extension of the mind. How that works towards like the rest of the record is like really fitting. And there's at least like a few core parts that like you'll see really add to like almost that wailing of a soul, like the sadness of it all. Oh man. But like jazz is very versatile. It's very free spirited, It's like one of the most like just do whatever you want with it, right? I think like we undersell mechanically how effective an instrument like like the trumpet or a tuba and like brass is, that it's like from the mouth, right? You blow into it and then it kind of like goes out, right? But like because it's so versatile with like your mouth noise and just like how you breathe, like it's like an extension of like your voice in so many ways. And I think like it communicates a lot of emotion that like some instruments don't easily get, right? Yeah, you give it life. And I swear I'm not being reductive. Like the strings of a guitar and how people like hear that and then like they think about it in their own way. It's an extension of the soul too. But like just from voice, which is like our most like formative, our most obvious type of communication, language, it like works really well. Like we really put a lot into it. Anyway, so this line right here, I think like most of you probably know at this point, but for those who don't, he's actually not singing about, like, this is actually like quite a common thing in hip hop, is that like it might sound like it's about like love, but it's not. Which, is like, it's an opposition to like the bling era thing, to like in context juxtapose that idea. But like think about the idea of like, I first loved you, but now I just want to fuck, right? That like essentially their passion, that like little fire in their belly, that like the butterflies, even the butterflies in your stomach, are completely gone, right? Like when it comes to love, no butterflies in your stomach anymore, just wanting the superficial, the passioned love of it, right? And you can get that anywhere. You can get that with yourself. And so like the relationship is now fundamentally different. So it used to be like glorified, but now it feels just normal, doesn't it? Tossed and turned, lesson learned. The idea of the girlfriend is fame, power, money. The dream of someone like Kendrick, who grew up in the situation that he did in Compton. Yeah, it's not fulfilling anymore, right? Talking about like a vagina, or something. The snatch your little secretary bitch. Like this entire part is basically indulging. It's indulgement. It's the, this is like the transitional period of a Kendrick, off the high of Good Kid, Mad City, more than ever before, made it, Kendrick changes POV from people to concepts. Yeah. And like, I think that's like pretty important. I think like this record, like, especially is like very important on like what perspective is like. And I think like, I don't think like, if Kendrick's gonna jump around in perspective, like, what does it mean to jump around in perspective? The most bare minimum. Like, what's the answer to that? Why change perspectives? Wouldn't that make it more complicated? No, because like we said at the very beginning here, that it's like, are you really who they idolize? To Pimp a Butterfly, and it's like trying to tell you that perspective matters. And that Kendrick's perspective and how he has like come up, that is very important. That is his story, right? So if you're going to like confuse people on who's who, you have to realize that like it's already like weeding in that you should probably think things a little differently from other people's eyes, from someone else's eyes, from get out of your own skin, right? That's like one of the most formative parts of the record, is that he goes to Africa and Mama, and that like completely changes things, right? So like, it's not like, one, it's fun, sure, and like you get to like feel some certain things with people, but like that's an important part of the mechanism that drives this record. Anyway, married to the game and a bad bitch shows. You were my first love, right? Married to the game. If you're not catching it, it's clearly about the idea. And this is like an important point, I think, as well, that him being like, I'm gonna buy a strap straight from the CIA, set it in my lap. That straight from the CIA. It's like him basically saying like, this is how much power he has, like government, right? Straight from the CIA. And then he's talking about like distributing it to the people that he grew up with, right? Still trying his best to like, give back to where it was that he came from. That love-hate relationship that he had with Compton. He still loves that place. But like, what would be a true testament to the power that you have, right? What is that you were actually able to give all this stuff, all this like retaliation methods, guns, to the people that you grew up with. Oh, man, it's really relishing in the power. I just love how much of like a picture this points out is just like, yeah, I made it. What do we need? Guns, right? Going back to those hood elements of like, what would be the sign of power is just the one in front of the gun, right? If I was the president, I'd pay my mom as rent. Yeah, exactly. Which is great. You should. I'm not like trying to paint that in a bad picture, by the way. But like, that is, relishing, right? It's that positive mix with like some not so great connotations to it. A masterpiece in so many ways. Yeah, I might be gassing. It could be like, it might be a high, like, it's like at least a solid 6 out of 10, Oh man. Yeah, a new lyric every time. Like, seriously, that I'm not exaggerating. This is like the one record I can just keep coming back to and being like, what the fuck? I didn't even catch that. Because it's like the subject matter is also so dense. I feel like I always come back to it and I'm just like I understand what that even means now. Like there's a lot of like my life that like goes on, and I still like find more power behind what's being interpretive. And again, I have to emphasize this, is that like that line of like, who do you really idolize? That openness for interpretation and like how you feel, that just goes a fucking like mile. Like, holy shit. That goes a long way. Like that's like some shit that like Shakespeare was doing, you know? Like Hamlet, what was it? I know like my viewers tank because I brought up Shakespeare. But like Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet, like that stuff has the reason why like people love analyzing those stories is because there is so much like lyricism and wordplay that goes into like what goes on top of just the plot being quite ambiguous in a way. It's so well, the plot isn't ambiguous, but like the themes themselves, how it ends and everything has this like just openness to life. Anyway. I'm so smart. I listen to Shakespeare. Okay, whatever, bitch. Nobody, just give me some punch already. Fucking idiot. All right. Educated, but I got $1 million check like that. Okay, like, I'm not gonna explain that too much. That is just like a line of like, do you see like how much purpose comes out that like Kendrick didn't even say it himself? It's like these other voices being like, oh, they're so violent. Look at them get guns and buy straps. And even though it's like all a part of the systematic problems that fucking America puts in to begin with. But whatever, motherfucker. The whole line is like, they should go back home. That was especially a line that was happening in 2015 on that brink of like 2016 of like, you know, build a wall and all that bullshit. God damn. Like that was a very popular phrase back then. It still is now. But yeah, like the background vocals, the na 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 na, and it's still on beat, by the way, despite being such a horrible fucking line, like a horrible thing to say, rather. And listen to that! No. Yeah, the industry's speaking dirty. Yeah, the system is. Oh my god! And using that line, like his voice. Like, what is that? What is, like, the bridges burn, but what for? You know? Like, what did you sacrifice? What did you, like, put into this? And, like, who, like, from your original hometown that, like, now feels alienated to you? Especially, like, given institutionalism and, institutionalize the song. As well as, hood politics as well. There's like a line in there that like suggests that like he really is alienated, even though he still comes from there. But you know, like what did you sacrifice? What did you put in for this one big dream that almost feels like you can't go back now, right? Man, it's like this whole thing like is just about the cautionary tale of, you know, well, fame isn't everything, right? And it's, again, what for? Who do you idolize? You know, despite all this bragging that's going on, you know? Who did you sacrifice to get to where you are? Yeah, exactly. God. And like, this is an important point for the whole record is that, like, listen, Kendrick got to where he was because of his music, which does get brought up again in Mama, which people sleep on Mama. Mama is like the most like insane track. Like Mama, like the thing that happens like here and just in concept is that Kendrick survived Compton a lot of because of like his own willpower, some of the values that he got growing up. On top of that, he did it because he made music. He made music that was about his culture. The being the good kid in the mad city, seeing through his eyes, the X on the face of good kid. And then like he comes out of it successful. He gets power, money, having talked about everybody that like he grew up with, right? So like he puts a limelight, this big fucking camera on the whole thing of his on how he sees things, and then like benefits from it, right? burned bridges, especially with what happened in Sing About Me when he made the song about names, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The sister for Keisha's song. Just all these people, and like now, like having shown everything. Oh man, it's like this is an artist getting power, right? And then coming from the place that he does, it totally changes how everyone looks at him, especially when it's like, you know, like they're starving for food, power, money. That's why the guns gets brought up. God. Sing About Me is beautiful. True. It's like probably his best song still. Anyway, here. Yeah, let's keep playing into it. So this is a really cool part that, like, apparently, like, this isn't just like, you know, food for thought. I love, again, like how it like drops the beat with these little plinkles, and then again, but what for gets brought up. Like listen, this is okay. If you don't know anything about production, that's fine. But let me tell you one thing that you'll especially notice with Kendrick stuff and lyricism in general, like lyric focused music, is that the music flat stopped. And then Kendrick goes, "What for?" Right? And then you hear the it, like, oh my god, it's so snappy the way that it's produced. But like when you stop a line like that, you are telling your audience, did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? Right? They're paying attention to it. It's not only like a cool, like, even like the stop itself on beat is good. Like if you're thinking about like time signature, or maybe not time signature, but like just like the pace of the song, it just like immediately grabs you, right? Like you almost can't help it. You're listening to a song and then suddenly someone turned it off and said, "What for?" It's like, that's important, all right? And then like, yeah, it clicks, goes to the Dr. Dre story, which, oh my god, and like, listen to, oh my god, listen to the way that it builds, man. Oh my god, like, I don't even pay attention to Dre's voice, just listen to the texture of this. Listen to this shit. Like on his voice.
But remember,
ding ding ding, little plucking.
Anybody can get it. The hard part is keeping it, motherfucker.
And then like big fucking wind comes in.
What you want, your house?
And then like he like his voice like hits over. You have to like, his voice invades Dr. Dre's voice of keeping it. Please keep your money. Keep your wealth. Keep your power. Because anybody can get it. And guess who fucking comes into his ear? It's Uncle Sam. Who, at least metaphorically, is like, you know, the devil. Which, by the way, like, this is just like a disclaimer. I am not a religious gal. I am not. But like, what I really appreciate about this record is how the metaphor, like in religious, like, you know, iconography and ideas, is utilized for caution, for capitalism, for basically hedonism and indulging in your pleasure, and like, you know, wanting security, wanting happiness, and how that sort of guts people, because I think like we have measurements, not that they're like holistically like sound, but like we have measurements of generally what makes people happy, and buying into things, buying into like ideas of power and wealth and opulence, that doesn't really make people happy. There's like a threshold where like you just keep buying and buying and does not feel good, which, you know, comes with the water, sun, and love thing, you know? But like I do, like, this is not something to scoff at. Like, listen to the way that Dre's voice gets bought in by an Uncle Sam.
Anybody can get it.
When he says the hard part is keeping it, and then his voice echoes out.
Part is keeping it, motherfucker.
What you want?
And then like, who's that?
You a house, you a car for the...
If I haven't explained this right, that is basically Kendrick's mind messing with him. You can say that is like literally, what is it? You can say that is like literally, you know, the devil or something, which works fine, but like, you know, little thing in your head telling you that you should need to do something about that, right? Oh, God, I love that. Anything you see, my name is Uncle Sam, America, right? And then you can live at the mall, which, you know, you can live in a place of luxury. And not like he's literally, like you can literally go to the mall, which, you know, some people in poverty will sneak into malls to like, you know, try and find food or like, you know, stay warm for a night. But like live at the mall means that you can eat food there, you can buy things there. Your life, like there's a food court at a mall, there is items at a mall, there's just happiness. That's where you can enjoy the rest of your time. So you can live at the mall. And you know, if you have money and power, why not, right? And then fuck your haters, basically like people who like tell you that like, oh, this is so stupid. It's just like, you know, tell them fuck off. They're just jealous. They're just jealous, dude. You know, that's all it is. They're just, oh yeah, they're just jealous, guys. And so like that's the fuck your haters, the cliche coming in. Is the mall a metaphor for a capitalistic society? Yeah, I mean, it can be. I think that like is incredibly fitting. I think it's just like not even just capitalism, but just like specifically consumerism, you know, to buy things, ooh, you know, like to keep yourself like constantly happy, you know. What is it? He says it on your Christmas list, you know, put your value into things like that, the things that you never got when you were younger, especially. A sheep, a shepherd. Mm-hmm. And which is a very Shakespearean. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucked up. Oh God. I'm gonna get fucking canceled. But no, for real, okay? That is a very common metaphor. No, man, it's a good metaphor. Yeah, no, it's just bye. Anyway.
Got everything 2 times.
You better, like, okay. I haven't really given enough, like, focus on it. Because I think you guys just know. Listen to his fucking words, man. Listen to his fucking wordplay. Oh my God. So you better cop everything 2 times. 2 coops, 2 chains. Cops, chains, 2 C notes, which, you know, the lines, ain't enough both we know. Oh my God. Your horoscope is a Gemini 2 sides, so you better cop everything 2 times. Fuck. Look at like just next to each other. Look at these lines next to each other. Like at least key nouns is the cop, coop, cop, 2 chain. They all relate. These are like relational words on top of being double entendres for just like, you know, indulgence, right? Fuck. Like, how do you write shit like this, man? Oh my God. I fucking love poetry. Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck. Oh my God. I fucking fucked with the volume so bad there. Hold on. But do I even need to say that, bro? So this line is like about how Kendrick, again, his upbringing matters, his perspective matters, is that you ain't pass economics in school and everything you buy, taxes will deny. I'll Wesley snipe your ass before 30. Which people talk about how, and what was it? Tupac even says it himself, is that like they take the heart and soul out of a black man in this country, especially 30-year-olds, right? And then to be sniped, and then that whole like, even what is it, the 27 thing? Just people hitting that age of just like, I'm wiser now, I'm more of an adult, right? Which 35, I believe, is also the age in which you can vote. Well, no, not vote, sorry. No. That you can run for president, right? So like there's a lot of like shit there of like, you will buy all this stuff, but guess who it's for? The fucking like this is like, sign a contract with the devil kind of shit, right? You will fucking sell this, but monkey's paw yourself into basically being fucked and die. Right? Because taxes, which there's a lot of ways in which rich people avoid taxes, by the way. But if you don't know your economics, you don't know how this system is exploited, by the way. Get fucked, kid. Go fuck yourself. It's for Lucy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And when you hit the White House, do you? Oh, man, dude. Yeah, get to that White House, the prestigious White House. But guess what? Taxes, baby. Oh my god. And then like, yeah, this transition of like, yeah, it's looking down, it's quite a drop. Which, by the way, it goes into like the fear, the cautionary, like, oh, you climbed all this way up, but now it's such a quick fall down. Which that works in like you climbed a mountain, but you can fall and die. That works towards when we get to you, and especially being on the power trip and how quickly Kendrick's like ideas just crash down, right? They just plummet. Boom. So it's quite a drop. Suicide, which also is a line that comes back on Mama when he like talks about making me want to jump.
Look both ways before you cross my mind.
Oh my god, dude. What are we doing, dude? Look both ways before you cross my mind. If you think that there isn't a cautionary tale about perspective and what you should think, what does that fucking line mean to you, man? Look both ways before you cross my mind. That's a line for Compton, for like the people that he's burned bridges for himself, because he, it's like right in your ear, right? It goes left to right with the voice channel going, where you cross my mind. It's for America, who just threatened to fucking snipe his ass. I, like, not even including Kendrick, there is a lot, like, people talk about how Kendrick plays characters, which I love, by the way. I love that Kendrick does that. But the way that, like, Kendrick utilizes voices on this record in particular to sell just anybody talking differently to you while integrating the different conversations that he has with himself. The text man got me, like, there's so much like forebodingness that happens in this fucking song, man. Kendrick's voice is insane. It's great. Yeah, like, and Kendrick just sounds great too. He just sounds so on top of it. And if you want to see like Kendrick on top of it, well,
didn't even buy me no
like, what the fuck?
I didn't know it. Your homies know it.
Everybody fucking know. This is also playing with what is it? This is also playing into the first song. So like, again, this album isn't just like, oh, isn't it cool? Like, okay, this is Talk to Death. I'm gonna level with you right now. This is Talk to fucking Death, which is great. But the one thing that when people talk about this record, they're like, oh yeah, the poem, like, it like makes it all like connect, guys. Do you know how much else in these songs also makes them connect? Bro, they literally, like, the song is like, at first I did love you, but I just want to fuck, which is personifying the embodiment of like his power, money, fame goes to that, right? And then he's now personifying the fucking America, the bitch that, like, you know, what was it? This is, you know, his what is it? His fuck, right? That this person who's manipulating them, this is what they want. This is his relationship to fame talking to him. Now, is it the relationship for everything in fame? No. But you get the cynicism of how that relationship is different. His relationships to fame is constantly telling him that he ain't good enough, that he's not worth it, that you need to do this, that other people did this for them. This is like, oh yeah, like, oh, you could have done way better, you know? Like, on top of the poem just sounding fantastic, there's so much in these songs that literally just go like fucking checker pieces. So remember when we said that Kendrick sounds like he has great energy?
You looking at me like it ain't a receipt, like I never made
Listen to his flow. Listen to his flow.
Dick ain't free. Living in captivity, raised my cap.
Living in captivity? So like, yes, spam sardines. You can, you know, it smells like fish kind of shit. But like, again, when we think about who it is that is talking here, you know, he's talking about his upbringing. Oh my God. On top of like who it is that he feels abused by, right? And so he feels abused by like what's going on with America. But like on top of it, like talking fast, like, you know, to really emphasize, you know, like where his mindset's at, and this and this and that, right? Like, listen to these words that he's rhyming with. Matador, Hadador. Oh my fuck. Where is it? Yeah. Bullshit. Matador, which a bull is for matadors. Had the door knock. What is it? Tried a 40-ounce in a pit bull. Bullshit. Oh my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. I can't fucking get over just like the mouth feel that you would get from like saying this stuff. It's like, hell fucking nah. I need 40 acres and a mule, not a 40 pounds in a pool, a pit bull. Bullshit. Matador. Had the door knocking, let him in. Who's that? Oh my God. Oh, it's unfucking real. I can't fucking get over this shit. On top of like those drums in the background playing, bro, what are we fucking doing? And then the genital's best friend again. The line that preceded it in the previous song about the fuck, right? And then this dick ain't free, the whole thing about, like, the line explains itself, especially at the end when he says, like, I pick pattern for you, rich, now my dick ain't free, right? Which is, like, that, again, that love-hate relationship with fame that comes in of, like, oh, I love you, you know, you, or, like, but now you just, like, want to fuck, like, they feel dissatisfied, but they're still benefiting, still on the ego trip, right? Watching pornos in poverty, apology? No. Watch your politic with people less fortunate like myself. Oh man, watch you politic? Oh my God, that's so freaking good. Every dog has its day, now doggy style shall help. Yeah, you know, give a dog a bone, every dog has its day, right? And he's trying to like reject that, like, oh, I never needed you to begin with, right? The pornos in poverty and stuff, feeling like he's like getting back, he cheated them. He's like, I already did it, you know. It's like copium in a weird way, but also like a good way of distancing yourself from this really toxic relationship with America, right? I'm gonna get Uncle Santa, fuck you up. Like, it's again the threatening aspect of that song, you know. It all comes crushing down. If you weren't paying attention, you should now, kind of thing. Oh my God. Ah, America, you bad bitch. I picked cotton and made you rich. Man, Jesus Christ. And just the wordplay alone Porcelain pipes, pressure, bust M twice. Choice is devastated, decapitated the horseman. Meaning, like, people have just been dead, but, like, it's still living on. The headless horseman. Dusted, doomed, disgusted, forced with fuck you think in more shit. It's like, what the fuck? More divorce courts in portion. It's especially because there's a racial bias in the court system, you know? All right, so let's go to the next song. On top of like, and again, I wanted you to pay attention to the like the way that it like played back there. Fuck, it's so cool. There's so many like sonic like ways of like making you hit an emotion while just sounding fucking amazing. Oh my god, the textures in this entire fucking record just sound immaculate. I don't even know. All right, let's keep going. This is King Kunta, which noteworthy time is that despite all this like denial and what is it, like, oh, I don't need you, fuck you America, right? They're still like trying to be braggadocious, being like, I'm a king, you know? It's like I'm gonna do it my own way, like I rule now, you know? The dualism of feelings that goes on in this, it's just like incredible. All right, here, let's keep going. King Kunta time. All right, no, let it go back. Listen up. It's the hard stop, like the ways that like they make these tracks not like too invasive of each other while building, so cool. Just like to have it cut out and go like
I got a bone to pick.
in the fucking craziest bass line you've ever heard. Again, I'm mad, but I'm not stressing from the previous song. And then the yams are the yams, the power that beat, that beat, that beat. All right, chat. Do I explain the yams to y'all? Do people not understand what the yams are? All right. So there is videos that you can find online because I was like, okay, I need to make sure that people have talked about this because I think that they have. But here's the rundown. The yams is, I think it is derived from this book that's called, I think it's The Roots or something. No, not The Roots. Things Fall Apart. I was thinking of the Roots album. But like basically, they were basically this resource they were able to distribute as like a commodity. It was like like an income almost. And yams represented thematically those that had power, money, influence, and those that did not. And Kendrick even says that the yam is the power that beat. And so it's basically money, power, whatever it is that is a form of like how, like what fame does to a person, like what the status of a person does to a person. And you'll see that when he brings up Richard Pryor and Bill Clinton. And so like if you listen to the rest of the song, it just makes sense. Also the bars, because he's talking about ghostwriters, so he's like, you know, he hates ghostwriters. Being like, you're all secretive about what it is that you guys talk about. Yeah, like, oh yeah, bottom bunk of a two-man cell, which, by the way, another song that comes up pretty soon is These Walls, which, if These Walls Can Talk, is also secrets. That phrase is also about secrets in a institution. So, so a little layering aside, that's just a cute little thing to note. It's not too major. But again, I'm just trying to emphasize my point about how all these songs like relate to each other, on top of relating to Even Good Kid. And so sharing bars, like, you know, lyrical bars with each other as you talk about ghostwriters. Bruh. Something's in the Water, which, by the way, is like I don't know if like it's not really like it's a phrase, but it probably comes from De La Soul's like tread water, you know, which is like trying to again train cautiousness. Also, like again, the voices coming in. Richard Pryor, who like in Richard Pryor's case, you know, also manipulated women and did a lot of fucked shit. On top of almost killing himself, you know, the Yams brought it out of Richard Pryor, that famous comedian. And then Bill Clinton, who that whole scandal that you can all look up, that also brought it out, is basically that it brought the worst out of people. That is the basis of it, is that like, you know, power, money, wealth, it's like it like gets into your head, right? In the same way that we see it get into Kendrick's head previously when Dr. Dre says you gotta keep it, right? And then you hear the voices about the mall and stuff with Uncle Sam. Ah, man. And like him talking about, again, the revenge part, which also gets brought up in these walls, of just like, I want to go back to my enemy and say, oh my God. Just like, you can see it, like him talking about people being manipulated. And then he's talking about how he himself feels like he's being manipulated by, like, he just, oh my God. I was gonna kill a couple rappers, but they did it to themselves. Everybody's suicidal. And then I'll probably go to jail if I shoot at your identity and bounce to the left. You know, being right. Oh my God. Stuck a flag in my city. Everybody's screaming Compton. Good kid, right? I should probably run for mayor when I'm done, to be honest. But he like literally has a song called Compton. It's like the last song off of a Good Kid, where it's like Compton, ain't no city quite like mine. And I would probably run for mayor when I'm done, to be honest. And I put that on my mama and my baby boo too. 20 million walking out the court building. Again, it's just how it gets into their head. You know? How it like all builds up like that. And then the fuck the judge, which, yeah, true. I made it past 25, which, you know, close to 27, the 27 club. And then a little nappy headed with the world behind him. And like, again, this is all an appeal to the power trip again, right? Where like, he's talking like about like how it got to other people, right? But he's just like, oh yeah, like there's almost like this like duality to it where it's like, I acknowledge that other people were manipulated, but like, look at what I'm doing it for, right? As well as just like seeding in like the macro themes of the record. It's like, it's perspective. One, it really works. The contradictions work really well. On top of the fact that like, yeah, he's just feeling himself. And so like, that's why like this song like just works as like one of the singles on top of just like fucking ripping.
Bitch, where you and I was
By the time you hear the next pop,
The gun.
the funk shall be with.
The gun. Oh my God. Like, okay. So I'm not going to claim to know that like, I know exactly what that gun means, to be honest. Like, I don't want to pretend with y'all. But basically, like, bitch, where you when I was walking, and then, right? So there's like a few things. It just sounds cool. Again, it's like I can see it as like a sound that is reminiscent of the lifestyle Kendrick did, the violence that he feel like he wants to commit to, as well as like maybe him getting shot down, but like again the beat still like persisting, which, you know, you can take in your own way. And then by the time you hear the next pop, the next gunshot, you will feel the funk within you. Again, that music mattering in like their upbringing in a way, you know? That like to have the pop of and then like the funk come in even harder. It's like this is where I got it from, right? Oh man, it's so cool. That go mammy fuck motherfucker line. I still say that with my friends all the time. Everybody want to cut the legs off of him, and then it stops. Oh my god, dude, man. The again, there's all this like, oh god. The We Want the Funk is about Kendrick's perspective, but also the audience's perspective, which, man, like juxtaposed by those like kind of violent lines, the gunshot and the cut the legs off him. Ugh, you know, you can see that in a very dark manner of like how people have been treated, especially with funk music, right? We want the funk, then they cut the legs off of him. Ugh. Where's your footprint, you know? Yep, and then it's there, a retrospective Kendrick talking to himself a little bit, right? And then it goes into institutionalized of like, I'm a king, why don't I bring my subjects with me kind of thing.
Of a rap image.
Like, okay, like this voice, this is like a little like whatever ghoul, like little ego in your brain, right?
Hold up.
Running back for a visit, like bringing his people in, like he's a king, but he keeps back there. Okay, so what is this like? What is bulletproof your Chevy doors, get high? You know, it's like basically like what the experience is like for people like that. Is like it's very moment to moment. There's no great giant plan when they get into the White House. It's just self-preservation, you know? It's all that stuff, all those defense mechanisms, those impulse given mechanisms that comes from like a place like Compton. To have them talk about bulletproofing your Chevy doors, like what's that gonna do? You know, like bulletproof them so that you can like go in and do more drive-bys again, like we saw on Good Kid. Like what is it? Like it's like you think that you've gone all the way up again, you're just like king of the world, but like these like thoughts like creep in, at least from your homies, of just like going back to where you went from, you know. He said it himself that like he's going to return to like, you know, going back to Compton, you know, keep coming back for a visit. He can't, like, he feels like he can't get out. You can take the hood out the homie, you know, but you can't take the, what is it? You can take the hood out the homie, but you can't take the homie out. No, what is it? No, you can take the homie out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the homie. Like that whole thing. And that line, like, again, it's like Kendrick's trying to tell you exactly what the underlying, what the more important line can be, mixed with all that. Listen to how it stops again. There's no beat. Take the chains off me. That's the fundamental emotional core, is that they just want to be free. Master, take the chains off me. And like how that image relates to slavery back in the day, and like how long this sort of these mechanisms of self-hatred have been in place. They just want the next part, right? And that the way that they shoot for it is so, man. This is apparently also a reference, but I cannot remember. I just alleviate the rap industry politics. Milk the game up. Never lactose intolerant. So like him just basically like talking about how like, oh yeah, like I got it all, and the beat, how chill it sounds. Again, it cuts out. Now follow this. It comes back in, but follow me, chat, follow me. All right, so he says the last remainder of real shit. Basically, talking to himself up again, still off of King Kunta, nothing changed. The obvious, me scholarship, no, streets put me through colleges. Basically, that like, his music got him played in college as well as like taught in college, and I am talking about it now. But like, yeah, like he went through the street. This is like, again, that gets brought up in Mama, and then is sentimentally the whole thing is that like him making music, him showing his life of living on the streets in his own artistic way, that put him on the map. Be all you can be true. But the problem is, and like, so he's kind of talking to himself, right? Or like at least thinking that he's talking to someone else, like almost like he's in a mirror or something. But the problem is, dream only a dream if work don't follow it. So like, he's trying to say like, oh yeah, he changed everything and like got into like colleges and all that stuff. But if what he is dreaming about, and he admits this on Good Kid, is that he's a dreamer, that like what is it gonna do if he doesn't have anything to show for it? So then he says, reminds me of the homies, who know me, now follow this. I'll tell you my hypothesis, and this is where we're at. What? Yeah, like listen to like the way that the voice like echoes out, wah, 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 wah. Like it's so this is like, again, there's a very haunted material that goes on with like choices like that. But he says, he refers to himself as K Dizzle, which is like kind of very like, rap moniker name thing. But it's like, it's almost like an old name that he would have had, in Compton to, make himself more relatable. What is the impact that Kendrick has if like he thinks he's a king, he's changing up the game, he's doing it, but meanwhile he still can't stop his homies from like going to award shows with him. The people that he grew up with, that he really relates to, now can't relate with his lifestyle anymore, and so then he feels even more alone, and like that impacts him. That impacts his culture, that impacts Compton. Man. Like the loneliness that comes in, right? From that. This is just a good storytelling, this like little bit. Like, I mean, like if you're unsure of like what Kendrick's doing like sonically, he says it himself, like, Snoop does. He goes like, this is what they said. Which is great to give you an idea that Kendrick talks through different perspectives. Like, which you can recontextualize for the rest of the songs if you so desire, especially with King Kunta. But, like, it's great that it goes, like, from what they said, and then it's, like, his voice somewhat changes. I mean, they fuck about what they're doing and walking and looking at walker licks, right? The constant big money talk. And then, like, yeah, he just can't, they just can't relate to this lifestyle that, like, Kendrick has, like, bought them into. It's like a total fish out of water experience for them, right? Instagram flicks, yeah. The showing off, the opulence, right? Quickly because he got it. My defense mechanism tell me to get it quickly because he got it. It's like a whole, what do you call it? Who is that little freaking fox in Disney? I forgot his name. But it's like Robin Hood. Yeah. It's like a Robin Hood thing. Quickly get it because he got it. And like he's appealing to that sentiment, even though it's obviously very selfish. But also, fair enough. Like these foreign whips, mansions, cars, all this like insane amount of money that could have been spent on who knows what groceries, you know? Yeah, of course they can't relate to it, you know? And I'm not like trying to give them an out or anything, right? That's not really what I'm like trying to imply. But like, what I am saying is like, Kendrick is alone because of this like disconnect between the new lifestyle that he clearly wanted, that other people wanted as well. But like now it's like, these people are advantageous. It's not just that like they are Kendrick's friends. They feel weird about the way that he looks at it. It's like, why protect these people? Why do any of that? Fuck it. Like, this is like, you know, kill or be killed kind of mentality. This is, I gotta get this shit because they got it. This is the steel in the hood kind of shit, right? And Kendrick feels used. That like they're not even really there for his soul, his spirit, for what he wants to give to them. Which, you know, is a little bit of a fault on his own. But like at the same time, he feels alone because of it. A lot of people deal with this kind of fish out of water experience, but to have like almost your whole hood just not know how to treat you because of it, man, it changes your value system a little bit, right? And you know, it's really noting to say that despite how much menacing power was going on before, this is like a song that definitely like leans more into like the scarier aspects of it. The master take the chains off me. Oh my God, Snoop just sounds so good. Can someone tell Snoop to actually learn how to care about making music again? Because, like, man, that guy is so fucking zonked nowadays. He's just like an old man, and he's just like playing Call of Duty, and he's just like, yeah. Well, I gotta go to live show? I guess so. Like, that's what he's like nowadays, man. Like, you gotta, like, I'm gonna tell you right now, look up like a Snoop Dogg live show, and he's just walking around, be like, hey, I'm here. He used to care so much. Back in Doggy Style, that album, you could tell that man was just fucking ready to fucking fuck shit up. But man, this is like the last time I think I've heard Snoop actually care about like what he's on, and he's only a small part, mind you. Kendrick really like brings out the best of some of these like artists on here, which I haven't been able to talk about because I'm surprised that like some of them never got like some of the people who made production on this, because we know Thundercat gets like a rec, but like I'm surprised that like Kamashi Washington doesn't get a recommendation, like is a feature list for the record. It's like so wild. I don't know why. But whatever. What can I say? Listen to the snap. It's such a good like. Sometimes I did. It's such a good like musical cue for like the next thing. It immediately clues you in again. It also is like a scene change. You know, there's almost like there's a swagger about snapping your fingers. There's an association with that. And then there's also Kendrick layering the poem at the beginning this time so that you know that it's not a part of the first, like the last song, that it's not just like being reused necessarily, but like, okay, this is a continuous thing. And so you catch it at the beginning of a song as well as the end of a song. So this is like great. Like, you know, did you see that? Did you hear that? It's great. Oh my God. There's so much thought put into this shit. So it just like, it's that lavish little like, yeah, fucking sex. There's not too much to say, but I do think like that, like that layering of it at least gives you this like, I don't know, I use the word haunting a lot, but like there is something almost unnerving about the, you know, but then like that doesn't matter because it just punches right in. Oh my God, the fight! Better than he would, but your flood can be misunderstood. Oh my God. They already told you. How do they do? How does he do it? How does he fucking do it? On top of this, just sounding like one of the sexiest fucking songs ever. That like, Marvin Gaye bullshit. Like, like, oh yeah, we're in a mood now. Like on top of it, doing that. How did he? How did he like start it off with right at the beginning? Because like people talk about the first line being like abusing the power thing, but like love how he says like but your flood can be misunderstood. Again, layering in that like you should, question some of your actions. And he's saying like your flood can be misunderstood. Walls telling me they are full of pain and resentment, which you can in your own sexy way be like, oh yeah, the walls of the vagina, right? But the walls also are the ones that talk up here. And he's trying to imply that like their body, that like, sex is a very intimate thing, is to relieve pain, to stop pain from happening, the discomfort with the world, the discomfort with reality, especially given the context that this is the girl that had their man go to jail after everything that's happened, right? So like she's like dealing with this, and then like Kendrick's just like taking quote advantage of it because of what's going on. And then being like, he even says like, me, I'm just a tenant, right? Like he says it himself that he's not there for love, as he already talked about before, is that first I did love you, but I just want to fuck. Which that was his relationship to fame and power. And so what does he do when he says with his relationship to fame and power wanting to just fuck? He just fucks this one girl for revenge, right? After having all his homies and like those people not like really relate to him anymore, he like confides, like he like puts his focus towards like trying to like get back at this person who had deeply wronged him, all that grief still hanging on, still all the little ruminations of that still there. And yeah, the pain, resentment, and just being a tenant, someone who's just, I'm just there a little bit, right? Landlord says these walls vacant more than a minute. Oh my god. These walls vulnerable. Oh my god. Like I there's just like so much internal turmoil to be taken from this. Again, listen to like dark that sounds, and it's like it invades the whole song. So like people love to talk about that it's just the vagina in the beginning, but it's also the mind, right, of this person. Your defense mechanism is my decision. Like that's just like him talking about like, he literally said it on the last song, being like, my defense mechanism tell me to get it quickly because he got it. So those two words back to back, by the way, your defense mechanism is my decision, right? Saying that like that, he is likening the person that like killed his homie to the people that he rides with. Like, your defense mechanism, my homie's defense mechanism, is my decision. And like, it's not even about Kendrick necessarily. You can look at it as Kendrick, but like even the guy who was in there, right? Because that's about him. I suffocate, I catch my second wind. They're trying to make you think it's about like sex, but like, I resonate in these walls. I don't know how long I can wait in these walls. Right after the institutionalization song? Bro. I've been on the streets too long, looking at you from the outside in. Oh my god. I've been waiting. Like, listen to when he says, I don't know how long I can wait in these walls. Which, that's the time again, which comes later when he's talking about time. How long he has to wait in these walls, the prison. And then the sad, there's so much sorrow being layered in. And then Kendrick, like that filter, like there's like, you hear his tone, and it's just like you telling him that like, oh, he ain't right. Like that boy ain't right, oh, that boy, there's something there, It totally, tonally changes the feel. These lines, man. Race wars happening, no call CO, right? The what is it? The officer? No calling your mother to save you. You're just screwed. You're an adult. You're trapped in here. Your behavior is Sammy the Bull, like a killer that turned snitch. Like all these things of like, you did this indescribable task and now you're like just stuck here, right? And then Walls is telling me you a bitch, being like, what is it? His girlfriend, probably about himself, which is the toxic masculinity that happens a lot with this record. You pray for appeal. Oh my God. Let me hear this line. Listen to how, again, remember when I said that like the line stops so that you can hear it?
That sentence so important.
That sentence so important. Like the whole thing just drops out just so you can hear that, right? Question, it's not even the important line that is stopped. It's that line is so important. So it does make you stop and go back and go, wait, what? You pray for appeals hoping the warden would afford them. That sentence so important. Which, afford is a line about money. Afford them, being able to buy yourself out. Can you really do that? Which a lot of people can, but definitely not him. Not someone from Compton like that. As well as how the justice system, especially the racial bias against Black people, is really bad, and you're praying that the warden will appeal to you. The reality is that that's not really the case. If you're a Black person in jail, good fucking luck getting out. It's that's what the system is setting you up to do, right? Especially with all the lines prior, like about like, how like, we should have never gave these, they should go back home. Never gave them money, go back home. And so they go to jail and like nobody really gives a fuck about them, right? They're scared. Is in America, those people from the institutionalization song of, oh, these people from Compton, oh, they're so scary, right? You want to appeal to the warden now? No. So like, it's like Kendrick is also adding to a system or enabling a system that makes this much worse for this guy too, right? For a lot of people he probably knows. And so, yeah, like, that sentence so important, yeah.
Walls can talk.
And listen to that, like, when it says, when he's revealing this whole line, which is just incredibly well-paced and written, of just, like, him abusing his power, misusing his influence, so to speak, back to his roots of, like, stick it to them. This person who killed his homie and this thing about me, or rather, swimming pools. Yeah, he's bitter and fucked, to put it lightly. And the walls can talk. Listen to how when the walls can talk, just as it like a sonic experience. Listen to how like the voice comes in and out.
Walls can talk.
And then it comes back in, Liz. Like, yeah, I don't know. You listening to Walls Can Talk and then you hear it like surround you sonically. Like, what a great way of using the medium, man. The walls can talk. So literally the walls can talk, meaning, you know, the person that Kendrick got with, that gets it back to him. The walls can talk of the industry. The walls can talk of his own like mindset. And then, like, you know, just the insanity ensuing as, you know, walls can actually talk or something. Maybe that's a little bit too far, but like, you get what I'm saying, right? Is that like essentially there's a lot of voices that goes into like you hearing things that will come back. So like the line said, if these walls could talk, but then it emphasizes that yes, indeed, walls can talk. And it says you're a bitch, you're a snitch, you're this, you're that. And you're just so truly alone in this world here that they're in. And this is like just a horrifying image of like what Kendrick's doing. And you know, I mean, Kendrick even wants to do something like that because he knows that he'll be able to hear it on the outside. Like, what is really secretive? What's secretive about the walls? If they could talk, they could hear everything. But, like, they do. It all's connected, right? Oh, man. It's just fucked up. And so, now we're going to get onto the song. And so, I'll say this right here. This is my favorite song off the record. It switches a little bit here and there because I love, like, this whole record to death. But this song in particular, holy shit. How this builds up from institutionalized to these walls. My God. Hold on, let's go. God, the way that it transitions. Finally, it's like all spilling over, right? And we know that this is about Kendrick talking to himself, right? Again, all that failure of not being able to reach out to people. Like, you preached in front of 100,000, but never reached her. This doesn't only, like, relate to this person, her, but, like, all the other people that he's failed to connect with. That should idolize him, by the way. The King Kunta should idolize, but they don't. And he feels so much turmoil over this. You ain't no leader. I never liked you, forever despised you. I don't need you. Just the way that he says that. It sounds like he's spitting out these words. Listen to the way that, like, it depicts a fractured mind. The noises, everything is just like anxiety inducing. God, the way it glitches out. Oh, I'm gonna fucking listen to his fucking performance, man. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just so soul-sucking. He just sounds like he's been sobbing, you know? Yeah, the corners? Like, okay, do you remember the line? Do you remember the line? When he says that the four corners collide, and he says, everyone heard it, multiple shots, corners crying out. Like, just fucking tear, like, sob-inducing lines, man. You were deserted. Where was your antennas again? That savior complex, you know? The soul. God'll say himself, you fucking failed. Like, he'll meet God, like, it's that whole thing. Because, like, you know, Kendrick's a Christian man. But you even FaceTime instead of a hospital visit. That, like, him flying out, doing his own thing, you know, living his best life. He ends up, like, letting down his people at home, that he's not there for them. That's survivor's guilt, right? It's survivor's guilt is like when you go through the trenches of like a war, if you don't know what that is, and you come out being like, like I've seen things, you know, and why am I able to survive, but these people aren't? As again, it's a love-hate relationship that he has with Compton and all the people that he grew up with. He has love. The reason why Kendrick is the way that he is because he had love, and it's because of his hardships, right? People love to talk about his hardships, but he loved these people because they were good to him, at least somewhat. And like he thought for himself. He was a visionary. He was a dreamer. But like, he's here because he had people that he could love and that he wants to share that with, right? Those moments mattered, and I don't think that's really that out there to say, you know? And him saying this stuff of, God, third surgery, they couldn't stop the bleeding for real. It's just a horrifying image. Then he died. God himself will say, you fucking failed. You ain't try. As in, like what, how, what do you even say to that, you know? And then he's just, he's sniffling. He's just fucking... Alright, and so, if you guys didn't know, this is a little lore about this song. So, apparently, I'm not saying that, like, everything is one for one, but there is one thing without a doubt, is that Kendrick is immersed making this song. Apparently, when he, like, a few people talked about it when this song was like being recorded, is that Kendrick locked himself in a room, a pitch black dark room in the booth, and he would just sing and like, you know, rap over it, talking about everything that he was recounting, being like, I gotta go to I have to go to a place, right? And his performance, it 100% shows. I understand that there's a few things in T-Pab that are not, like, that are a little embellished, sure, I agree. But, like, I think for the most part, you really cannot get over the emotion that he is, like, portraying here, man.
And if this bottle could talk.
So, again, you might know. Listen to the way that he drinks the glass, you can hear it switching in his mouth. And like, the line is really important from what we just talked about. He said, if this bottle could talk, which is a play on what he just established before, is that if these walls could talk, that like if these secrets could talk, if the thing that you relate to the most right now is this bottle, all your sorrows, drinking them all away, this is the most real thing in the world. This is like his reflection. Is that if this bottle could talk, all your secrets, if everyone knew how weak you were, I cry myself to sleep. Like I don't know like what to tell you. Like, these lines are not only like, they're all relational. All these songs relate to each other. What a surprise. But like, people always just focus on the poem. There's so many lines that connect all these songs. It's fucking crazy. Oh my God. Oh man, it's fucking wild. Like, what do you even say? It's just brilliant, right? Earthquakes. That's the Tyler line, by the way. Yeah, that's earthquakes. This is some trivia. This is a trivia fact. Earthquakes on every weekend. And like, you know, and with Tyler, the creator, when he references this line in his own way, because Tyler's just like a big Kendrick fan, that like, when he brings it up, right? His is like an actual love between someone else. But when we cross-reference that, the love for himself, an earthquake on every weekend, the relationship he has with himself, that's his earthquake. That's his relationship. Not the romantic one. I want to fucking puke.
Suicidal weakness.
hearing the bottle swish like that, dude. And then like the bulletproof my Chevy doors. Things relate to each other. His heart is bulletproof, right? Like, what a devastating way to like illustrate your upbringing, as well as like how you like feel so cold and isolated. It's just fucked. This song is so fucked. Oh my god. Yeah, You is like the best song ever, Ayama. I think it's gotta be at least like top 5. I think it might be top 1, but I think I have a soft spot for Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. I love that song so fucking much. It makes me cry. But You also makes me cry. I don't know. All my favorite songs tend to be shit that makes me fucking sob and like find God. Oh man. If you tell me you choose death or never listen to you again, kill me. Yeah, it's weird because that song is about death. Holy shit. Anyway, this song has been like talked to death about like a bunch of stuff, like how Kendrick is. But I think I at least wanted to emphasize the These Walls part because that one is just crazy. Alright, we'll keep moving on. Oh, I know a song that'll make you cry. Nothing's new. It's a crazy song. Maybe. Can probably suggest it when we do like a miscellaneous music stream or something. Yo, you can give a little rec. I do like recs. Now we are on to All Right, which I think shares some similarities with King Kunta, actually. Because King Kunta is like that braggadocious, like, I'm fine song in the midst of like his distancing from America, like, or at least what he thinks America is giving him. But All Right is after his suicidal darkest plunge. And then All Right comes into picture, which, is it all right? You know? That's the whole case for it. Hey, Hugs, listening to Kendrick? I could be. I could be listening to Kendrick, my favorite artist, maybe. Nice to see you, Deviant. Nobody else but me gets T-Pab? What the fuck? Yeah, whatever, kid. Alright, let's keep going. This is a generational song, by the way. Actually life-changing. Like, yeah! This, oh, God, the production for this fucking song sounds so amazing. Where he says it, like, I got bad trips. Like, yeah! You know? But Nazareth, like, I'm fucked up. Homie, you fucked up. But if God got us, we'll be alright. So, like, he starts searching for God in this moment, right?
The fucking gangster and silence for the record.
And silence for the record. And then the beat goes silent, bro. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. In silence for the record. And also in silence because, you know, he's you know, in silence for the people that has fallen before him, right? The people who passed on. What the fuck? Oh my God. I'm a gangster in silence for the record. What the fuck, bro? Yeah, this is probably Pharrell's best song, just saying. Just putting that out there. I don't know how Pharrell Williams made Venom. What a terrible fucking song. How did he make this and then Venom? Venom. Venom. I wanna get him. And yeah, this is like a revolutionary song. Like this, like, if you guys don't know, this like We Gonna Be Alright, that was a political march song. People like marched in the streets and unified under this song. This actually changed the game. This is a historical song. Here we go.
And we hate po-po.
Damn right. Do you hear like the paranoia? My gun might blow, but we gonna be alright. And then the Lucy, the dog. I write till I'm right with God. Bro, I write till I'm right with God, which is also a connection to how much $1 cost. When at the very last line, they say like, I wrote my prayers or something like that. My dog, that's all. He's saying that he's in control of the devil, that the devil don't control him, right? I trap the bag for y'all, being like, you know, I do all of this for you guys, right? I rap, I black on track, as in like he just blacks out and lets him, you know, God guide him kind of thing, which is so fucking cool. And then like, oh man. And then he's saying like, digging in my pocket ain't a profit big enough to feed you. Every day my logic get another $1 just to keep you in the presence of your Chico. Man, and then like, yeah, the heaven I know you reach you. Oh my God. If I got it, then you know you got it. And that's like the giving aspect of like, if I give you something, then I get something back. And then heaven, because Kendrick is like giving out to people, he's inherently benefiting. Oh man.
Your favorite dark nights and my prayers.
I love how flippant it is. So like, this part where it's like, I keep my head up high, cross my heart like a cross, and then hope to die. Which, again, oh man, I think it's like a microcosm of like a lot of the songs of, you know, even just how things go on. But like, he even says it himself, loving me is complicated, right? And then he's like saying, I'm alright in your favorite dark nights in my prayers. And then like, it stops, right? So like, he's like appealing to God, being like, you know, like, oh yeah, I'm connected to God. I connect to God, right? Like I got Lucy in check, right? But then the next song is a deal with Lucy. When he's talking about like how Lucy's my dog, that's all. He's still like doing a deal with Lucy, thinking that like he's with God or something, right? But it's not really the case, is it? And then, like you said, the evils of Lucy were all around me. And then it appeals to him that, like, it really gets in his head. I love how there's, like, it's just the voices. And then he said it himself, he's running for answers. So, like, he's breathing very heavily. Also, dark nights in his prayers, more anxiety building. It makes me feel uncomfortable listening to him. Listen how beautiful it sounds. The sweetness of Poison, right? And then it's like surrounding me. Yeah, the mall line is like first thing. I remember you took me to the mall last week. Again, hedonism, buying into things. That's what he wants, right? You looked me in the eyes about 4 or 5 times. And then like, listen to like the way his voice like juts in and out of the production where it goes, baby, like it's like so unsettling, isn't it? Like just like, I love that like musical complexity to like the subject matter, and then like the, you know, the sweetness of the song. The integrity of the song is like still kept intact, even though there's some weirdness going on with it. Roses are red, but we both push up daisies. Oh my God, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, I want this insane production. Only started listening to Kendrick about 2 years ago, and T-Bab might be one of my favorite albums of all time, so I'm love hearing your analysis of it. Thank you. I mean, like, this record has been talked to death to a lot of people. So I understand there's like a little bit of like restraint. The rude people are like, oh, what can you say? But I genuinely think that there is like storytelling aspects that people almost take for granted when it comes to TPAB, and I love getting into like a narrative analysis of the thing, and at least taking some sentiments and like making them a little bit understandable, some techniques. But yeah, this is the first album I ever listened to, and it still has stayed my favorite. I haven't really had that with any other medium, be it anime, books, video games even. Like my first of something being my favorite, that's been TPAB. And I just keep coming back to it being like, it just doesn't get better. It just doesn't get better. It's an insane, like, oh my god, I don't even, here. Ugh, I'm getting on the sidetracked, hold on. But yeah, I'm glad you messed with this record. My hope is through talking about this that I actually push some of the discourse around this record, as well as just like hearing other people talk about it. I know that I'm like building enough of an audience that like people will talk to me about this record and I will listen to them and I will smile. I more TPAB discourse the better. IMO. Okay, but anyway, let Lucy talk in our ear a little bit. Let's see her.
You said your name was Lucy. I said, where's Ricardo? You said, oh no.
That's such a stupid fucking joke. Ricardo, oh no, not the show. We're gonna move them out of Compton. At the end of the day, you will pursue me. And so it's that like fine line of like, you know, all this money, the yams giving you this power, but at the end of the day, it can get a little overboard. Like that money looks like the good deeds of helping out someone, right? That relationship between helping your mom, you know, pay off their rent, you know, and getting them a great place to stay, you know, giving back. And even on the themes of how much a dollar cost, money, it's a really good resource. It's a really good, like, just thing in our structural society, right? But it also can be like the pipeline between just like, oh yeah, this money is helping me help other people and help myself, which is a good deed, and is self-indulgence and hedonism and buy yourself stuff, the 40 acres, a mule, a guitar, and then like all this like it's just so easy for it to like go further than that. And at the end of the day, you'll always pursue me, that like sin and like problems in general in life are just inherent to the human experience because of how we treat money, right? So, and maybe there's like an argument to be made that just money in of itself is evil, which, I don't really want to go there, but like, like I do think, regardless is that it's, what you can take away is that it's a slippery slope, right? It's a slope that can like go off the hinges at any particular time. So it's good to note that. Broderick, well, welcome in. What's up? Good to see you, friend. All right, let's keep going. I love how the voice comes in there. The way that the voice comes to the forefront. And listen to this production. The way that it builds up to here. Oh my god. Also, this is my favorite part of the song, by the way. Is how it ends. That sounds so fucked up, but listen. God, can you hear like the voice in the background too? Listen, there's a voice, if you haven't noticed. Like, I do not, like, to this day, I still have no idea what it is that they're saying. Because, like, it's not, like, on a Genius lyric or something. But, like, I want you to, like, ask yourself if you can hear somebody else in the room. me love it. Who the fuck is that guy? Like, seriously.
I did the same.
Oh my god. Just listen to all the little textures, man. The descent. The musical descent.
Until I came home.
Oh, God. Holy shit, Flames. Flames. Holy fuck, bro. Oh my god. The way that, like, it finally goes to Mama, which, if you didn't know, here's a little trivia for you. Is that Mama is, like, the concept of the record's origin. That, like, this moment that he is describing of going to, like, Africa and finally meeting with people, this was the inspiration. And everything that happens on here, and I talked about it earlier. I don't know if I can retread every single thing. I can't remember. But, like, this is, like, probably the most important song on the record. Arguably, other than maybe Mortal Man. But this is wild. Almost a total signed deal with the devil, or realizing what that deal with the devil looked like. And then using that money, that wealth, to be able to take a trip to Africa. Oh my god. Also, sloppy is the idea of it's like the type of beat that it is. It's so beautiful. Holy shit. We don't share the same synonym, fall back. The name, right? Like the origins of the name. Oh, fuck. Alright, so this is an important line. So remember when I said that when he says, I can live a stadium packing the fastest, this whole line of, like, you know, just bringing in people. And then he says spinning women like, he's just, like, painting a picture of, like, what sort of luxury he's living, right? Like, what sort of reaction he can give. And then he's saying Kendrick is master that mastered it. And then saying, isn't it lovely how menaces turned attraction? Which is how white people look at the stuff that goes on with Compton, or just, like, maybe not white people, maybe that's, like, too specific, but just, like, people in general will look at, like, what happened with Compton, and they say, oh, like, isn't it beautiful? Like, oh, like, it's so awesome that these people live such crazy lives. You know, it's that relationship again of Kendrick having gained the power that he did, the ability to even go over there because of his experience with Compton and putting it in an artistic measure, right? Making it almost feel attractive, right? Empathetic, whatever you want to call it. But, like, yeah, his whole, like, resource, his whole, like, empire built off of the fact that, like, he made his lifestyle seem appealing, right? So isn't it lovely that menaces, because he feels like he is a menace to society, that, like, even, like, the society treats them like menaces, can still somewhat reward them despite that. Does that make sense? Regardless, like I hope this makes sense to most of you, but, like, this is, like, insane level of layering of, like, what this record's going for, and I am here.
Brought me back home.
And so, like, now he's, like, he's in it. Oh, let's go, decision. Like, I love, like, how much it, like, he's appealing to, like, knowing everything, right? Are you really who they idolize? Please question your actions. Please question your origins, what you're on, what system you live in, and, like, just how much, like, you really have to, like, almost unlearn. Because a lot of people talk about learning things, but, like, this right here is, like, him talking about, like, how he had to unlearn the fact that he knew everything. He knew everything about the world. But that was just America, you know? And we already knew what America was, even though he rejected America, like, so he's speaking King Kunta. He's still, like, was confused, and like so he's left doom dusted, all that, and then finally he comes to get himself out of an experience, one that's way more loving, and just finds so much peace. That whole like waiting for you, that it's more predominantly black, and just, man, God. It's so cool. I remember you was conflicted. He was misusing his influences. He didn't even understood his influences, not even just like influences of like music or like what his influences, but misusing the influence of his people, right? Like the people who brought him up. He was misusing their influences. This is the root. The way that like this record builds on like double entendres and like triple meanings, quadruple meanings. Fuck. Hey, so quick editor's note here. So do you remember in Institutionalized when Kendrick took his homies to the BET Awards and took them to shows filled with a bunch of rich people and money? Well, his homies and him were pretty unsatisfied, and I think he felt predominantly dejected after that experience, alienated from his people. But now he feels like he's more reaffirmed and loved and excited to show his homies this place, not America's big corporate buildings. It's like America isn't the paradise, but it was Africa. So take his homies to Africa, take his homies to the BET Awards. And I just noticed the parallel between the two and thought I'd bring it up. Anyway, that's about it. I'm gonna see you later, guys. I gotta go. Oh my God. These fucking lyrics are insane. Spoiled by fantasies of who you are. To be an advocate. But if you pick destiny over rest in peace, Africa is rest in peace, then be an advocate. Tell your homies especially to come back home. To come back to like being grounded again. Not all this American noise, which they immediately show that Kendrick is about to embark back to America. And just like I'm gonna have to pause it here and there, but let's just all witness how Kendrick basically goes from Africa, learns like a new type of humility and just like self-love, acceptance, water, sun, love, and then juxtaposed by the world premiere, the lights, the Hollywood of America, and then he goes in being like talking about himself, talking about self-love when he goes, I've been looking for you my whole life. He means self-love, which is like what he ends up getting like towards the end. But listen to how he talks about self-love and how it makes him his defense mechanism. He makes him even want to commit suicide. It's just like, this is one of the most insane like displays of like that cracked mind. Just such a cool fucking beat change as well. Oh my God. Ah.
This is the word. You make me wanna jump.
Let's talk about love. I don't think I'm like just saying that out of my ass. Let's talk about love. And then he's like, I just want to jump. I just want to jump. That whole like him being at the very top, already having suicidal feelings before, being like, I just want to jump. Self-love. There's like, I know that may sound weird to some people, but like when you finally feel good, your body sometimes rejects it. You're just like, I shouldn't feel good, right? Whoa, like, that's not right. And so, like, that's Kendrick's reaction. It's so fucked. I found you back in the ghetto when I was 17 with a 38 special. Maybe you need a dollar bill, maybe me out real. Oh my God, what a fucking amazing display of, like, his fractured mind there. Like, what the fuck? And it's all because he was told to feel better. Like, it's like, it's like he's almost been electrocuted. It's just such a shocking experience, you know? That he just doesn't even know how to react to it. It's so devastating, but it's so uplifting at the same time. Like, what an incredible fucking part. All right. We're almost done. I'm speeding a little bit because, well, we've been here for a while, and I do have things to do, but I hope like everyone's finding this like somewhat enjoyable. This breakdown of things. I am doing my best, and I know that like at least to some people there'll be at least a few stones, but damn, we're doing it. I'm trying. All right, let's keep going. This is okay. So this is a line where I also wanted to bring it up. Oh my god, so sweet. If you want to understand what this distancing looks like, he calls him K-Dot. That's who he used to be. He has a song that's like called Kendrick Lamar about like why he refers to himself as Kendrick Lamar. And obviously he takes on Kung Fu Kenny and all that, especially with every project. It's just like a good moniker thing. But he gets referred to again by K-Dot, back home, right? Which sets the mood. The phone call, how he talks about it. It definitely gives you an idea of what's going on. Call me on sneak was phone. I love the way he fucking says that. Call me on sneak was phone. Bobo. Basically bad if you love that line. So like I've seen people like hear this line and go like, oh, wait a second. Kendrick doesn't like politics and rap? What's going on there? Which he definitely does, but like I don't think it's just him being like, oh yeah, I'm just lying. Like I don't think it's just like this is supposed to be an indication of his contradiction, because this album especially is very political, and he like is just like trying to appeal to like, again, he's going home, and like he is acting as if like he's back there again, being like, oh, I don't care about no politics, you know, or like he's at least even mocking the conversation that happens about politics in rap, right? Which is like, you know, like it's actually okay to talk about politics. It's not good to just talk about the shooting, killing, you know, gangbang and stuff that goes on in hip hop music. So like he's listen to his voice. He's playing as a character, right? So like I know that people say like he doesn't care about politics, but I'm just like, dude, come on. Like let's look at the context of the song. But yeah, it's sick. Yeah, so him talking about the Benjamins, like Benjamin gets like brought up like quite a lot because it's, you know, it's slang for money. But yeah, like he's just like he's going back, still trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm still hood, right? He literally says that in the poem later. That is just like, it doesn't happen here yet, but like he says that he's trying to, you know, reaffirm that he was still hood enough that his foundation was still A1, and so he acts like he's his foundation, right? It's so dark. Cardio, as in they can run while getting guns. I love this like flip of the politics, like that. Even with like somebody like Obama, which by the way, I am not a pro-Obama person. At least he what was it? Kendrick is like painting a picture that like, yeah, there's still like there's feuding going on even in like politics that like influences all our lives here, right? And it's just like, you don't stop. Obama say what to do, right? Man, I love this like contradiction so much. Rapping. Motherfucker, if you did, the killer might could be platinum. It's so fucking true. It's so fucking true. Killer Mike be platinum. Y'all priorities fucked up. Put put energy in wrong shit. Hennessy and Crown Vic, my memory has been gone since. That line is so fucking hard because it's like they're basically saying that like when you get like, you know, interrogated by the police, you're supposed to like act dumb. You're not supposed to know what's going on. And so he's saying that like people are pleading ignorance here, being like, the police are making you forget about your priorities, man. Like you're fighting each other. Put energy in wrong shit. It's like Killer Mike would be platinum, guys. Doesn't matter about it. It's just like, listen to him, you know? That's what he's saying. And Killer Mike is fucking rocks. I mean, like, Killer Mike's very conservative, and there's things I don't agree with him on, but, like, you get it, right? Yeah, the button thing. Then history repeats. And here we go.
Misusing your influence.
The realization.
Sometimes I did the same. Abusing my power, full of resentment. Screaming in the hotel.
So listen to that.
I didn't want to self-destruct.
God, the poem is so fucking
So I
good,
went running for
guys. I
answers.
can't fucking get over it.
Until I came home.
Oh, maybe
how
when
A1
my
my
foundation
foundation
was.
was.
That's what we just heard.
But
I was entering a
a
new
one.
one. Oh, bro. God, are you ready for a backbeat, bro? This song is produced immaculately. Holy shit. That relationship to money again. Like, listen to that, like, that, him being like, how much $1 really cost, him talking about money and how, like, Lucy's his dog and, like, you know, like, he's gonna come back and show everyone what's up, right? But this happens in Africa, this story, even though it's, like, played out pretty neutrally, like, when it's gonna happen, probably, like, again, there's things embellished, but, like, the idea is that, like, he goes to this person, this homeless person, and, you know, but he still has, like, luxury cars and stuff, man. $1, nothing less or more. And, like, you know, Kendrick, like, it's so fascinating. It's like, I was able to do cartwheels and do all this other stuff and, like, make people, change and stuff. But a single $1. Nah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. And you'll see this happens all the time with charities, where, like, people might ask for, like, a single $1 to help towards a cause. But, and I have personal experience with this, by the way, because I worked with the charity. But sometimes rich people are the hardest to get to because you'll be like, just a single $1. And they'll be like, well, we can't do that, you know? And I understand, like I understand a lot about why people don't want to do it. But at the same time, just the ego, right? Like, it's like, oh, I earned this. You know, there's a lot of, like, I earned this. This like protectiveness over it is what you have, and it's very Lucy-like, if you ask me. The very Zulu sentiment, man. It's all performative. They just have it down, just like super reserved and unable to like empathize with this person. God, I feel like, okay. Let me go a little further into the song because I want to get to the point that matters. Because, like, we've all listened to this song more than like once, right?
I'm insensitive and I lack empathy.
Guess I'm not always meant to.
Oh, what a beautiful performance. And here comes that right line again with all right. To right my wrong. About making music that appeals to God, right? So, like, all right, this needs to be said. So, on concept, this like song isn't entirely new, right? I don't think most things are, but like this is very akin to like, you know, there's this person and you were mean to them, and so they actually ended up being a witch. Oh no! And then like they turn you into a frog, you know. So it's like somewhat similar to that, but the execution, the sentimentality, like, it's really cool because no, I said this earlier. I am not a religious woman. I am not. You know, if anything, God hates my guts. But like, it's just that like when you use these kind of like symbols in like metaphors and like in storytelling, what's really cool that I appreciate, at least how Kendrick does it, is that like when he's writing in about like, you know, God and stuff, it's like, what does those concepts represent? It means to devalue the money, right? Because there's a lot of good concepts that come from something like maybe Christianity or just like other religious practices. And it's that idea that like, well, like what if, right? Like, would I go to heaven? Would I go to hell? And then like, by complaining about it, he's not really enacting the stuff that he believes in. He's like not being true to himself that like, does he really like need to worry about that dollar costing so much? Everyone gets a dollar very differently, you know? It'll mean something to somebody else. And like the butterfly effect, if you don't treat somebody nice like that, who knows how it could help you in the future in that like act of good actions, good intentions, breeding more like goodwill in the future, right? So like him talking about being like, oh, I'm like crying about like $1 or something, you know? Like this is just, it's wrong, especially with his relationship to Zulu and Africa and like seeing how they didn't even have TVs, right? So like that, this like hits him at a very poignant place, right? Like a very integral place of the entire record. So like, embrace your loss. I am God, you know? Like, you don't know how important this person is to whoever, to whomever, right? Even if I don't take it as them actually being God, that's like the consequence, right? That $1 costs a whole lot to someone else. Anyway, it's great because this entire record has been about the monetary value of things and like always just buying in and living in the mall and stuff, right? But like right here, you have a human intimate interaction of just give me something, right? And even acknowledging all the things that could be negative, it doesn't even matter, right? Because they needed $1. Ah, man. All right. Now we're going to go on to 2 tracks that, like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, these next 2 tracks, the way that they sit side by side of each other. What the fuck? All right, let's actually go. So, complexion. Come on, play. No, YouTube music, you're so stupid. Here we go. I knew it was gonna do that. A flower out of cotton, you know, making the most out of a negative situation. Oh, it's so sweet. I got the world's attention, right? He's talking about real life. Like, again, like, I love, just like in the same way that like these walls is like constructed, that like this is like him getting the spotlight again, being like, I got the world's attention, so like what am I gonna do with it, right? And it's just like him saying like, this is just black empowerment, like color empowerment. It doesn't matter what shade, right? And that, like, oh man, the way that like that goes into the next song, bro, like what the fuck are we doing?
Let me talk my Stu Scott.
Ah, God. She sounds so incredible as well. The 12 years a slave line is so fucking wild. George Lucas. I love how like much appeal to like nerdism is in her stuff. The art. I love how it's just like it's George Lucas, Cupid, Shades Dark, 12 Years a Slave. Like another piece of art that reflects real life. God. And then like Two Tots. Oh my God, dude. And then like, you know, that ties into the like the whole James Bond thing too. I think this is just like a really cool self-love. Find an air beneath the kite is such a dope line. Holy fuck. No colors ain't a thing. Bro, no blues and pyro. Like to bring it back to the gang violence. Bro. Because this song emphasizes right at the end, the next one, that you have to unify and fuck the police. Oh man, this is so fucking... Oh my god, I can't fucking get over it. The James Bond line, I've always thought this line was kind of funny because the James Bond line is like... Okay. So James Bond is like the most American character of all time. Who would need another American character? And like, I don't think we ever got like a black James Bond since like this thing released. And to be honest, good miss. But the point is, even though that didn't happen, and no, I don't really like, oh yeah, we need a black James Bond, which is fine. It would legitimize them feeling American, which is good. But like, at the same time, you know, like, hey, yo, fuck America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, fuck America, who cares? But like, you know, it's the stepping stone. It's the idea that like you can be a James Bond, you can be a black James Bond. Like any idea of the cool fucking badass, you can be that. You know? There's gonna be no discrimination between our skin color for that concept, right? So I like that line a lot, but I do think it's like a little funny. But yeah, I hope that makes sense to y'all. Fuck James Bond. Anyway, okay, want to see the fucking hardest song of your entire fucking life? Are we ready for that? God, the way that this transitions is, I can never stop thinking about it. Oh my god, here we go. Just this violent image, you know what I mean? And I'm watching you die in vain, it's such a shame, you know, you call me crazy. God, and how you can use both those lines for both Kendrick and the police, fucked. Gold chain full of, like the bling, right? Bro, he said every race start from the block, as in, you know, your foundation, the block, Compton, because of like where Kendrick comes from. It all starts here in a weird way, but the block, he also means the black. You can read it as every race start from the block. Just remember that as a way to sort of eliminate this like weird prejudice between them, you know, that it's like, you guys are like all came from the same, like you're just brothers, sisters kind of thing, right? Like, man, just all the racial fucking superiority fucking bullshit. Only a penitentiary would hire the racial bias again. And the way it opens up like that. Alright, so there's a few things that I actually, you know, surprise, surprise, I do actually have to say about this part. So, how do I say this? So, I think one mistake that I've seen people take with this song is that it's almost a justification for some of the bullshit reasoning that goes into being like, oh, well, you know, the blacks are feuding amongst themselves, black on black violence, you know, it's their fault, right? And so some people, in their own fucked up way, look at this song as if it's like an endorsement of that mentality, right? But I do not think it is, where there is like, what it basically is like, this entire song, especially the generational hatred, it's all this stuff built up. It's just blatant racism, the being in love with your desert eagle, the heart of an Aryan, the whips, the scars from all these people, how like that has left a mark. That like he acknowledges full outright, and this does come back in the song I, when they say, you know, fuck the police, or basically, is that like they, and even the ending poem, which is like, we need to like unify, we need to come together in order to give the best fight against these people. We need to fight against them. We need to like all this stupid bullshit, like these small world problems that we have, which we totally get because of like the way that the system works, is like the more that we strive for like being better, which you do have to fight really fucking hard for, even despite this stupid fucking bullshit that like the racial biases, like we like, it's just gonna make things worse. And so Kendrick is appealing to peace and love through each other, despite there being an obvious fucking enemy, the obvious fucking bullshit like police system, which I am not. God, the police are fucked. Like I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about this, but like they've just gotten worse. They've gotten worse, and I really don't think that's out of pocket either. There's a Jacob Geller video about like that actually. It's like, he's not even really political, but man, oh man, that execution methods thing, fucked. The police are awful. They've always been awful, and the fact that it even relates to Pac, fucked. So like, I think reading it as, oh, well, you know, it's their fault. It's like, no. Kendrick is just saying that like, we're so busy feuding amongst ourselves that we need to feud against these fuckers. And like, it makes the story better. It makes our image better, you know? It's fucked. And like, Kendrick has like his own conflictions about it, because like, he's seeing his community, his people just kill each other and do these fucked up things in their own right. It's horrible. So like, yeah, like Kendrick is just saying like, we need to strive to be better than like just fighting ourselves. We need to redirect that passion, that focus into things that actually matter, right? So I think like, this is just like one of the most powerful songs ever. It is such a fucking, like, I want to bite into like iron when I hear this song. It is so fucking good. But yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyway, here, let's get going. We're almost done. We'll just get into the next track, since I talk so much about that. The little outro is really nice too, but you guys have heard this part. God, I love this song, man. This is also one of the just the easier ones to get into. This is just such a cute song. I absolutely love how personal it is, even though it actually goes quite wide with its concept. I do love it. Like, it's like, placement it is a little, you know, I love that it comes after Blacker the Berry, and I love that like it leads into the next song. But like, this song is just like really like cute. I think that there's some broad concepts here and there. If anybody wants to give like a lyrical analysis of You Ain't Gonna Lie, there is some real cool stuff. Especially with the girl's gonna neglect you once your parody is done. The culture don't accept you. Nobody loves you. Which also brings to that, every minute is a star, which that relates to that line. The self-pity, the loudest one in a room, that's a complex, right? It's people trying to compensate for something that they lack, right? And especially Kendrick, who is being performative, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's like, it's really cool. You ain't gotta lie. It's awesome. Just be yourself, right? Like, everyone just be themselves, and I think it's really cute. But what is it? Oh yeah, in this line here. I'm gonna move on from this, but I hope y'all understand that like I really do love this song. It's just that we're running out of some time actually. All right, let's get to the last one. I need to get to like some of the more important points, but I don't want to say that You Ain't Gotta Lie doesn't matter, okay? All right, here we go. So it comes in from you. Oh, wait, sorry. Is that mic on or not? Nobody. The live version, bro. Oh my god. A back of the head, basically to shoot the police in the face. Oh my god. I love this live version so fucking much. I wish the studio version sounded like this. Bro. Everybody lack confidence. Everybody lack confidence. How many times my potential was anonymous? How many times the city making me promises? So I promise this. Man, just the burden of that and just wanting to carry it forward is fucking awesome. Like the love yourself vibe of this whole song while still maintaining the fuck you attitude. Immaculate. Yo, Rose, what's up? Now this might be generally my favorite songs ever. I know. Oh my god. The whole thing of like we stop playing sad. We need to just like come together, right? What do you think? Do you think that the fight broke out because they learned that Ed, and Eddie went off the air? That's why I'm confused. Ed, and Eddie has been off the air for some time now, you know? I mean, any of you have seen that clip, God bless. God, it's so fucking good.
Django. No better
On
than a
Django,
white man with slave
which is
votes.
like black
Sound like I
hate
needed some
on black.
soul-searching.
Oh my god.
My pops gave me
Because
some game,
Samuel
real
was like
person.
feeding into the
Retrace my steps
thing.
somewhat, so
I
I'ma break it
love
down
his
and put
appeal
my
to
game
the
in
sentiment
song.
here.
Realest niggas alive.
Oh my god, we're actually here. Okay, so I'm not gonna say too much about this because I just genuinely don't like. It's so weird to say this now. There's just like to change that word and how like that word has been weaponized. Like to change, like it sentimentally shows you everything that America has done is to try and take the heart and soul out of a black person, right? That like that word of being a king, being a ruler, that word doesn't even exist because it's so drowned by the negative connotation of the bad one, right? The changed version of it. They try to even language, which if you don't think it's important to someone like Kendrick, well, you haven't been listening to lyricism, right? Language really matters here. And so to take that word and gut it, only for Kendrick in his own sentiments, be like let's get back to feeling like that again, to reaffirm this word that we're so like willing to say the N-word to each other all the time. Let's guess what? You know, like you know, the Black Emperor King ruler. That's him. That's his reflection of self-love. And even if you don't agree completely, it's like, oh, we could just gotta start saying that word now. It's like what you do get is Kendrick being basically an emotional role model for like how you can feel, what you could feel, right? Don't let this like fucking bullshit like control you, you know? And I think that's just fucking dope. You know? Man, and now, oh my god, and now guys, we're at like the end. This is like the quickest like 12 minutes of time I've ever spent on anything. Here we go. Generational. Man, when he says like make room for mistakes and depression. God, it's just acknowledging that, like, you know, it's such a beautiful way of saying, like, life's hard, but, like, we're just gonna you know, just keep it in mind, right? The highs and lows. And God, it just sounds so beautiful, the twinkling of those keys, and then like his voice. And then like again, this whole thing that wraps around to the very first song of like, you know, are they really who you idolize? Or like something along those lines. To Pimp a Butterfly, right? It goes right back to the very beginning, you know, this whole looming name over the entire thing. To be like, you know, the ghost of Mandela, which this also gets brought up in this song that you'll see a little later. How like ghost and spirit and influence, misused influence, you'll see, relates to this whole thing. It's actually fucked. Oh man. And then like it's cautionary. It's you know, let me ask this question. If shit hit the fan, are you still a fan? Are you ride or die? And the answer does not have to be yes or no. You don't have to be loyal. Just as much as like the people in Compton are loyal to the streets that, you know, conceive them, right? But like the thing is that like he's loyal in the sense that he wants to bring those people back when they're right and wrong. That like he wants to bring up the, you know, the black experience, the black people. And will he be right or wrong is something that you should question as an audience member. I think if this sentiment was not at the very end of this record, I genuinely believe this album would not be praised as much as it is. But the appeal to open thought and to thinking for yourself, that matters a lot, even with that cringe line that comes up later. But like, okay, I don't want to like bite off more as like we're going on. It's a 12-minute song, but like just keep that in mind, okay? It's not, by the way, that even relates back to even like Good Kid, Mad City, when he says something about like, you know, even a small candle can burn a bridge, right? That line being brought in over and over again. Burn bridges at the very beginning of this album as well, about like what bridges did you burn, you know? And then the revenge, and oh my God, the revenge that relates, as I said, to the institutionalization and you know, that homie that he lost in Good Kid. There's just an unbelievable amount of layers to a single record. I can't get over it. All right, this is very important. I want you to all pay attention to this, okay? Wait, did the stream go down? Are you messing with me? All right, so listen to here, chat. The government wants me dead, but I will finish my point because I can just talk about it. Basically, this line, the Michael Jackson one especially, got fucking sniped. It's so fucking funny. So, how many leaders did you leave him for dead? And then, like, he's talking about, like, is it Moses? Is it Huey Newton? Detroit Red, Martin Luther, JFK, Shooter, you assassin? Is it Jackie? Is it Jesse? Oh, I know it's Michael Jackson. Oh, so here's the thing. What's really interesting about this line is that, listen, I understand Michael Jackson is a very horrible person. And I understand that he's doing the Billie Jean line to reference the fact that in Billie Jean, that song is about how, like, you know, the kids are not my, but the kid is not my son. That he's already dealt with scrutiny before and bastardized part of his name. So he's just trying to say, like, hey, you gave us Billie Jean, you know? Like, you guys, how could that happen, right? But, although I understand that he 110,000% was probably trying to defend MJ, I think when you look at this song as a whole, what comes across is exactly what he was fucking talking about, which is that, like, yes, the line doesn't work, that if shit hits the fan with someone like Michael Jackson, like Kendrick, and how he was also flawed in his perspective in defending someone like MJ. After that whole documentary came out, even beforehand too, even though Kendrick is vulnerable, he's a human, he's a mortal man, capable of hitting flaws, what do you make of that? Right? Do you dislike Kendrick because he made a mistake in talking about, like, MJ being, like, a good, like, role model or something, when he, like, emphasizes a way better role model, Nelson Mandela, you know? His sentiment here works in a weird way, where it's like, oh, Micah, it's like, you know, that gang name is Billie Jean. You think he touched those kids? It's almost like you can see it as him saying he is in denial. He's in denial, and that other people have to accept that too, right? That, like, you know, be careful about who it is that you idolize. Are they really who you idolize? That is this record. Do you idolize America? Do you idolize this enough? Like, what is it that you're thinking about? And that openness at least lends a lot of credibility to what the sentiment of this song is about, even though fundamentally MJ was a pedophile. Okay, so I'm so sad that I could not play the rest of this poem with Tupac, but I will just say it right here. Tupac says a lot of things about the system and how it's worse now, and Kendrick editing it to, like, make it sound like he's actually talking to him. It doesn't feel like grave digging. I don't think it is, because it's not like AI art and, like, someone's pretending to talk with Biggie. He's listening to an actual voice recording that his influence, like Tupac, like Mandela, like the people before him, like, he's like us right now. Like, we're, like, on the other side of the screen. We look to these people to be like, you know, where is it that I go from here? Where's my guidance? Where's my inspiration? You're my role model. Like, what do you have to say about that? You know? And Tupac is like a mortal man. He dies. And one thing that he says right at the end is just like, Kendrick says something along the lines of, where is it? In my opinion, it's like, all we need is music and vibrations. Sometimes I can get behind a mic and I don't know what type of energy I'm gonna push out. It trips me out. And then he says, because it's the spirits. We ain't even really rapping. We letting our dead homies tell stories for us. That's like that may seem like nothing. But like what Kendrick is saying, especially someone who's dealt with death in the way that he has, is that he feels influenced by the people who came before him, by some of the kind sentiments of those people, that like he feels indebted to like where it is that he is now. You can see it literally that he sees the spirits. He is a religious man. But like I see it as like, yeah, like you came from a very profound amount of influence to make it here. And that your charisma, your spirit is an extension. When you write, when you get as abstract and like as personal as you can and so introspective, this is like you being an extension of the cries, and you're the embodiment of what people need to hear, right? Which plays a huge amount into the savior complex that goes on with Kendrick, which I love that gets de-escalated in Damn especially, but super especially Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which is like, I think personally is way better than Damn, but what can you do? So like this whole poem being wrote out, a beautiful ending to like what even To Pimp A Butterfly is even about, and what's your perspective on that? Pac, like what's your perspective? what do you think? And Pac can't answer. He's not there. So Kendrick is taking up the torch himself. Does he stop a little bit with that savior complex? Yeah, I think that's good. But that call to action that he feels on this record is very important and very good. So yeah, Kendrick, this record, I hope I've made it as best as I can. I'm so annoyed that I couldn't add that to the previous one. I'll have to edit it. But yeah, Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, that's basically it. I'm so sorry that we had some technical difficulties, but honestly, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. It honestly means a lot to me to have people talk about this. When he talked about the spirits and stuff and how much spirits and indebtedness to the people before him matters in the context of this whole record. And then like perspective, it's just awesome. It's one of my favorite things ever. I come back to it all the time. The wordplay, the lyricism, the music, it just fucks me up so much. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. So thank you all so much for listening. I really hope you all have a good night. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you learned a thing or two. And even if you don't really 100% agree with my take, I hope it at least stimulated or reinforced or sparked interest in your own takes. Because I don't think that like I'm the iron hammer about what this album is about. But I at least think I wanted to add something. So thank you all so much. And yeah. I'll see if I can do something about this whole take that thing. I love seeing the aspects of different album, different people analyze all fronts. It's such an incredible record. Yeah, it's like quite the behemoth of information and density to it. And so I'm really glad that you got some value. That makes me happy. Thank you. Yeah, thank you all so much. And 07. See y'all later. Bye bye.